Welcome to our video today where I give you a complete overview of what there is to do in Longmont, where you would do your grocery shopping, where would the kids go to school, what does it look like living in Longmont on a day-to-day basis. So I am going to do that today using a map tour, which will give you a great idea of the area. And if you are moving to Longmont, this is a really good way to get a little bit of comfortability. I mean, is that even a word? But a little bit of comfort with what it would look like to live in Longmont. So we are going to start. I'm just going to show you in general Longmont and where it is located. So these are kind of your boundaries of Longmont. It is right off Interstate 25, which will take you into downtown Denver area, and then as far as out to Colorado Springs and beyond. And it will also take you up past Loveland to Fort Collins. So you have CSU up here. Fort Collins is a college town. It's quite big and has some things that Longmont doesn't. And then it will take you up into Wyoming and beyond. So you have very easy access from Longmont. You can also take the diagonal highway into Boulder if you work in Boulder, and then down onto Broomfield and throughout. And then the bonus, take you past Lyons and up into Estes Park and Rocky Mountain National. So Longmont is a great location. I do have a video on commuting from Longmont that you can check out on this channel, which will kind of give you the down low on what it looks like to commute like into Denver for work. Hint, hint, you might want to stay closer. But that gives you an idea of the boundaries. Longmont is split into two counties, so you kind of have Weld County on this end, and then the rest of it is Boulder County. All right, let's look at schools in Longmont. If you have kids, where will they go to school? Let's open this in maps, that would be helpful. Okay, so as you can see just from kind of this broad view, Longmont has a lot of school choices, and then you also have out here Meade High School in middle, and then Frederick and Firestone has schools as well, including Frederick High if you're looking for high school options. And then you also have Hygiene out here, which has some schools as well. But talking about Longmont schools, you have a pretty good variety of schools, and St. Vrain Valley School District is open enroll, so as long as there is space, your kids can enroll in any of these schools within the school district. So we have Twin Peaks Classical Academy over here, a little bit different if you're looking for a different style of education for your kids. We also have the Montessori School down here, so you have that option. You have a Christian school up here, right here, in this area, if that's where you would like to send your kids. And then you have a different range of public schools with different programs and options. And especially once the kids get to middle and high school, it definitely breaks down. So Skyline High School, I know, has a very good marching band program if that's your thing. Longmont High School has lots of options like welding and things like that. And there is actually a whole separate building here in Longmont. Within St. Vrain, there's the Innovation Center. And then there is the center where they do welding and manufacturing and that kind of stuff. And we took advantage of that with my son. He actually went to Frederick High, so outside of Longmont. But you have these different options. Timberline, if you want your kids to be in the same school from kindergarten or pre-K through to 8th grade, then that might be a good option for you. And then you have your elementary and middle schools throughout. And like I said, some of them do kind of cater to different learning styles. So if you go to the St. Vrain Valley School District page, you can get a better understanding of what each school is going to provide. And like I said, you have the option of going to different schools. So the school coverage is pretty good here in Longmont, no matter kind of what side of Longmont you live in. You just want to make sure if you do send your kid outside of your boundary school, there's not always school buses. So transport may be something to think about. Okay, we are going to shimmy right along to Parks in Longmont. So once again, just like the schools, there are lots of different park options in Longmont. So I am going to go over some of the bigger ones, and then you have like your neighborhood school or your neighborhood parks as well, which are dotted all throughout. And this is something I love about Colorado. No matter kind of what area you live in, there tends to be a lot of parks and neighborhood parks. So you have the big St. Vrain State Park out here by the interstate. Camping, there's some trails throughout, fishing, and just wildlife watching out there is great. Sandstone Ranch Park is one of the bigger parks. There is a playground, a splash pad, soccer fields, trails, and you can start here on the Greenway Trail and go all the way into Boulder, and we'll talk a little bit more about trail options later. But there is lots to do here at Sandstone Ranch Park. And then when you get hungry, you can just go over here to Collision Brewing. Of course, there is Union Reservoir, which is one of the more popular places, and that is because it is a big reservoir and you can swim. They have a roped off area in Summer Beach. You can kayak and sup. You can ride your bike. You can even take your little boats out, and there is a dog beach that you can enjoy with your pups. And I have another video which covers things to do with your dog in Longmont if you have a dog like me that is like your child. And I don't know if you just heard him groan when I said that, but he's right under my feet. Okay, we have Golden Ponds Park. My son had his senior photos here. Well, the toilet block is nothing special. It is a very pretty park, especially in fall with those mountain views. There's all kinds of fishing you can do there. There's little historical pieces of Longmont. There's little waterfalls. There's trails throughout. There's just all kinds of things to enjoy. And it is just such a beautiful park and so much nature and totally worth a visit. So that one is Golden Ponds. And then out here we have another lake. We have McIntosh. And McIntosh is free. So while Union costs, McIntosh is free. And you can sup again. You can paddle. I wouldn't necessarily want to swim in there, but there's trails that go around it and parks as well. So that can be a really cool place to hang out. Now, Roosevelt Park is kind of this is the main drag of Longmont. This is the main street where everything happens, restaurants, shops, parades, everything like that. And then you have Roosevelt Park right here. So there is a playground. There is paths that walk around. There's really pretty gardens. They have events, including the Christmas lights, where it's all lit up. And they have ice skating in the winter, which is very cool. Let me show you that. So under the pavilion there. So if it's snowing, you can still be skating. And then they have part of their Christmas events here as well with bonfires and hot cocoa, and they let fireworks off. So this is one of kind of the central parks when it comes to events, and it is in that downtown area. Like I said, there's pretty much parks everywhere. Trying to think of the other one I want to show you, and that is Kenemoto Park. So that is in a different kind of area of Longmont. It is along the trail that takes you into Boulder. So if you're riding your bike, you'll probably come along it. But let me show you something special in this park. There is a swimming pool, and there is also this beautiful Japanese structure. I believe it's Japanese. Don't kill me there. But it's a great park too for something different, if you're looking for something different. And these are just some of the great parks in Longmont. There are so many parks that I could go on forever and ever about them all. But you will find a park that has just about everything you need. Like this BMX park here. Up here you have some with dog parks. Like I said, I have that video exploring those. So when it comes to parks and being outside, there is plenty of that to do in Longmont. How about if you are hungry and you need some food? Where are you going to go and eat if you are wanting to eat out? So here we are again on kind of the main street of Longmont, where you're going to find quite a few options. And the options are kind of spread all around Longmont. Pump House is a brewery with quite a large bar, quite a lot of beer and drink options, and then food options that kind of work for everybody. It's got that brew pub vibe. It has a patio outside, and then it has some video games and stuff upstairs. So always a good option. The Roost is one of my favorites if we are kind of celebrating something or we're just looking for something a little more like upscale than the Pump House. Then we'll come here. They have all kinds of great food options. It is in one of the older buildings of Longmont. As you can see, like the architecture going in is amazing. And then they just decorate it so pretty inside. Like right now it looks like this, and I love it. I think that it's just gorgeous. And the food is really good. They have a lot of non-alcoholic drink options, and then they have your standard like bar with beer and cocktails and things like that. So that is a standout place for me. Long's Peak Pub and Tap House is like your pizza and beer, and it's right there by the park, which is nice. Zoom this out. Ziggy's Coffee, great if you're looking for coffee and pastries, and that gets packed on event days and parade days. Landline Donuts is a little fun. It's got an old kind of vibe to it. Go in and grab your donuts. The Passenger is another restaurant if you're looking for something a little more upscale and celebratory. It has some really cool vibes inside as well. It also has, I'm not going to give it away because you should go and find out for yourself, but some amazing history in that building that the Passenger is in. You have Jefe's, which is your tacos and tequila and margaritas. You have your Flavor of India here. Tangerine is a popular breakfast place. 99 Bar Saloon is great if you're looking for a burger or steak or something like that. It is really good for that. I haven't been myself, but I've heard really good things about it, especially their burgers. But it has a whole vibe to itself. Okay, I want to get off Main Street here and take you to some options over this side of Longmont. Sugar Beet is another. Now that's where you go if you want a super fancy restaurant. I've never been there. I'm not much of a super fancy restaurant girl, to be honest. But maybe I will try it soon for an anniversary or something. Left Hand don't have food, but that is one of our breweries. Just over here to hover. So over here in this area is where there are a lot more restaurants you might want to check out. So we have The Post, which is like fried chicken and beer and that kind of stuff. You have your usual Chili's and Einstein, Buffalo Wild Wings. The Juicy Seafood I have not visited yet. That is fairly new. Seafood restaurant. Excuse me. Busaba Thai. And the one that is not coming up, let me type it in because it is absolutely one of my favorite places here, is Suelo's Tiki Restaurant and Bar. And let me show you some photos inside as to why I love this place. So the bar area, and this doesn't show it real well, the bar area is like the hull of a ship. So you go and sit in the bar area, and here we go. You feel like you're in a pirate ship. And you are having your tiki drinks, and you are eating some Hawaiian food, and the whole vibe there is just amazing. Like, I love this place. So if you are in Longmont visiting, you definitely need to check out Swalows. Now, it's a little bit more on the expensive side, but it's worth it. And then you have all your kind of fast food options and some other non-fast food options. All right, let's move along because I'm getting hungry after talking about that. Let's go to grocery stores so you know where you are going to get your groceries if you are moving to Longmont. So we have 2 Walmarts. There is one down here and then one up here. So they kind of cover both sides of Longmont. You have a Target over here, and there is a new Target going in right in this area. So it will be a Firestone address, but definitely those that live on this side of Longmont may find it easier to shoot out across 119 than battle the traffic across town to this Target. There's King Supers and Safeways throughout the neighborhoods. We have a Whole Foods Market over here and then a Sprouts as well. We have a butcher. We have your sausages and different meats. And if you like going to the butcher, if you grew up in a country like me where butchers were a thing on the corner, this is a great choice. Your Butcher Frank is a great choice. Natural grocers, you have a Save-A-Lot, and you have your tortilla places around, which are great as well. There's also all kinds of bakeries throughout Longmont that you can visit. And then cheese importers is great if you are looking for special cheeses, if you are looking for French food, if you are looking for those different things that you can't get at the grocery store every day, like gourmet chocolate. You can get it here at the cheese importers. So we have that right here in Longmont. Now, 2 that we don't have is Aldi's, and Aldi's is only just starting to come to Colorado. And I believe their first store is going to be up in Fort Collins. And then the second one is Trader Joe's. We really need a Trader Joe's. But if you love Trader Joe's, you can go down the diagonal highway into Boulder and you will find a very busy Trader Joe's right there. Okay, so from grocery stores to trails, where can you ride your bike? Where can you get exercise here in Longmont? So this is outside of the Longmont area. So when I talk about Longmont and surrounding areas, I'm kind of talking about these towns like Firestone, Frederick, Meade, Dacono, Berthoud, that are just outside of Longmont. So you have the Firestone Trail, which is not the most exciting trail. It's kind of just a straight 10 miles back and forward, but you know, if you're just looking to be outside, that one is fine. You have trails throughout the state park. And the state park trails actually cross under 25 and go up into this Barefoot Lakes neighborhood area. And they're actually going to connect the St. Vrain Trail, if they haven't already, here to Sandstone Ranch. So starting here at Sandstone Ranch, you can get on the trail that follows the left-hand river and takes you all through here. So the St. Vrain Green Rail Trail, it covers the left-hand creek, goes down, and it goes across the diagonal highway, and you can kind of follow that trail all the way into Boulder. Now, we have made it to Niwot on our bikes and then back, and it was about 10 to 12 miles. Niwot is a great place to stop if you want to grab some food and a beer and stuff before you get back on your bike. This trail also crosses Left Hand Brewing, so you could stop there at any point. But it is one of the kind of longest trails and one of the really good trails to get on and ride your bike, walk, run, especially if you're looking to get some miles in. We also have trails around Golden Ponds, around McIntosh. I believe there might be some in Union Reservoir. Never really kind of gone to get on a trail there. This Jim Ham Nature area has some smaller trails as well. But your main one is going to be that St. Vrain Greenway. And then a lot of cyclists will also, not a trail, but will use 66 to ride into Lyons and beyond. And Lyons is such a cute place to go visit. We also have, and I think it's more Lyons than Longmont, but Rabbit Mountain is what we call it. The locals call it. And it is a great trail option if you are looking for a few miles without having to drive far. You kind of go up into the mountainous areas. You can connect trails, so you do 4 to 5 miles, or you can just do an easy, quick 1 to 2 miles just to kind of get that heart pumping. But that is a great option for some kind of more hiking, so to say. Okay, we can't do a Longmont map tour without looking at the breweries because we have a lot. So I am going to go over a few of my favorites. I forgot to mention Costco during groceries. We have a Costco too, right here, and we have a Sam's on the opposite side. That was bad, my bad. Okay, so over here we have Collision Brewing with some great food if you love like big burgers and salads and things like that. They brew their own beer. It's really good. You can check out Collision as you come into town. Then you should definitely stop at Wibby's. If you like more German style beers, Wibby's going to be your place. They have a great outdoor patio area. You can see where they have parties and events and things. Here's a photo of one of their events. They also allow dogs inside the brewery, so you can take your dog inside, which I love, especially in winter. So they are a great option. Left Hand, I have mentioned, it is one of the biggest breweries here in Longmont, and they have their flagship brewery, and then they have a garden outside in the summer as well, which is basically a big green space with the bar where you can grab your beer, bring your dogs, and they have food trucks. Grossenbach is one of the smaller breweries, but they put out some pretty good beer, pretty good vibes inside there as well. Bootstrap, I would say they're more for adults, like not really the place to bring your kids to run around or anything, but they have bands and they have like ukulele night where you can bring your ukuleles. Their outdoor area is pretty standard, nothing special, but it's a fun brewery to visit for sure if you are in the Longmont area and looking for that. We also have distilleries, and I mentioned Pump House before. 300 Suns down here make some delicious food and also have really good beer. Oscar Blues is another one that we have to mention. They have their tap house, which is fun. You can bring your dogs. And then they also have their brewery restaurant where they make some delicious Cajun food. So that is kind of covering the breweries in the area, which links in with things to do in Longmont. And let's get the map up properly. Okay, so when it comes to things to do in Longmont, I have to be a little bit more intuitive at typing stuff in because Google Maps doesn't do a great job. So we have Sunflower Farm, which is an amazing place to bring the kids, play with the animals, do a lot of activities, and they are open in summer mainly, and then probably a little bit into fall. Longmont Museum, if you want to know the history of Longmont, this is the place to go, but they also have rotating displays and plenty of stuff to do for the kids as well. So hands-on activities, lots of art, and then these spaces where you discover the history of Longmont, which is amazing to know the history of where you're living. The Agricultural Heritage Center is an outdoor museum. That is another great place to learn the history of Longmont when it comes to the agricultural side of things. And then you, of course, have our reservoirs, outdoor parks, and things like that. We also have an art gallery that is not showing up here. And I mentioned some of these in my video about 5 great things to do in Longmont as well. So you have Firehouse Art Center right here. And it is a working art gallery. So you may see artists in there working. It's over 3 levels. If you love to do art galleries, that is a great place to go. Our library is pretty special too. So the library is very close to our downtown area. Even just from just looking at the outside of the library, I love the building. But there is plenty of books, of course, things for the kids to do. They kind of get in with the events during the year, and that is definitely a place worth checking out. We also have the Winners Circle down here, this part of Longmont. So if you want to do like all those activities like bowling and indoor laser games and trying to think of all the other things that go on here because I have been here. Video games, food, all of those kind of things can be done here at the Winners Circle. And that is down here kind of towards the Diagonal Highway and out to Boulder. So that is a good place to go. You have a memorabilia store. You have Cool Stuff Longmont, which has all kinds of different things. Your comic and game store. And your Bits and Bob's toy shop if you're looking for that kind of stuff to do. But there are things to do inside and outside in Longmont, and that is just some of them because if I waffled on forever, I would be here for like an hour making this video. I hope, though, that this has given you a good idea of what living in Longmont looks like in terms of school access and parks and grocery stores and things that you would be doing every day here in Longmont. Now, I am a realtor here in the Longmont and surrounding areas. My name is Haley Bartlett. I work with IGO Realty. If you are looking for help moving to Longmont, I would love to help you. Never any pressure, just here to provide you with information and help. So feel free to reach out. Contact details are down below. And I hope you are having a fabulous day and that this video was helpful. See ya.